Hey guys, what's going on? Back here with another YouTube video. In this YouTube video, we're going to talk about NIO and we're going to talk about how the stock has reacted post earnings. Now, just to do a little recap, if you didn't know, NIO did beat earnings for Q3. However, the stock on that day it reacted pretty negatively and it had a down day, but since then it has been uptrending and we're going to get into that. Before we get into that, I would just like to go over a couple things dealing with NIO. So the first thing is that they had an increase of deliveries of around, I think it was 2 to 3,000. It was some good number that they had actually increased it by. Now I have the exact number in a previous video, so if you would like to find out that, just watch my NIO post earnings. I talk about all of that in there. But also something I also want to bring in is that there has been some news that NIO is releasing some type of sedan car, just like the Model S or Model Y, I think it is, that Tesla has, something similar to that at the end of this year or the beginning of 2021, just because Tesla is starting to have, a greater influence in the Chinese market. So if NIO wants to compete with them, they have to release some type of sedan car, because right now most of their cars, as you can see, they're just SUV type cars. Like the EC6 is an SUV type car, the ES8 is an SUV type car, and the ES6 is an SUV type car. So they don't really have a small sedan car like Tesla has. So I think if they develop this and come out with this at the beginning of as early as 2021, that would be huge for their market in China. Then they'll really become a direct competitor with Tesla, because right now Tesla does have an SUV type car, but they also have those sedan type cars that are really driving the market right now in China. So if NIO wants to continue to compete in China, they need to develop some type of sedan car, which they are doing. And if they can do that and they're successful with that, and if they're even a little better than Tesla, then I think they could have a better impact in the Chinese market, just because they are a domestic company in China and they have even been backed by the Chinese government, which could be viewed as a bad thing, just because how the Chinese government is. They're not really, the best or friendliest when it comes to that stuff like that. But like I said, I think NIO has a really good future when they do develop and come out with this new sedan type car, and that will just cause it to even skyrocket even more, because they'll have more cars out and more of a market share dealing with that. Now let's take a look at their chart. So today was an actually really good day for NIO. Now in a previous video, I kind of drew out this pennant play, and I was talking about it could either break to the downside or upside. And I think at the time of when I drew this, we were at this wick right here. So as you can see, we actually broke to the upside. We actually had a really huge day today. We were up $3 and almost 40 cents, which was around, as you can see, 7.52%. That's huge. That's a huge day for NIO. And that mainly might have been just because Tesla has been doing so good over the last couple of days. But regardless of that, NIO has been doing extremely well. Now it broke above this pennant play that we drew out. So if you took that, well, congratulations to you. Because if you took that exact trade that I was talking about in the previous video, I was talking about how if I were to get in right now, then I'd stop out around this area right here. So or I think it was a little lower. So you didn't actually stop out and you were able to ride that all the way up. Now I hope most of you did take profits, because 340 is a pretty good move for a stock this size, and considering how it's been on this run up so far. Now, as I talked about earnings, we had a surprise for earnings, so we beat it by, I think it was 3 cents. And then at the time, we did have, as you can see this candle right here, it did have a negative reaction, and then the following day we downtrended. But today we had a huge uptrend, which is very strong for NIO. So going into the session tomorrow, Fridays they're always give or take. You can either be down a lot, or normally what happens is we gap up and then we just slowly bleed off the whole day. So going into tomorrow, if we do gap up, then I'd keep my stop losses really tight. So if we do gap up, put your stop loss at where we gapped up at. So if we do pull back, then you tag out and you're able to take that profit. But most likely what will happen is, just because we pushed up so much today, I think we might pull back tomorrow. So like I said, if you're already in NIO and you're up a considerable amount from the previous days, just because we had such a huge day today, then I'd keep my stop losses tight, because you don't want to give back all of that profit that you just made today. So going into session Friday, if you're watching this, make sure your stop losses are tight, so if it does pull back, you do get that profit that you made. Now, something I would want to be looking at for the session on Friday is that a good position to get into now. And let's say we do have a bad day and we come down to an area such as the 44 range where we traded at Wednesday and Thursday, then I'd maybe consider getting in, but I'd like to still see some type of deeper pullback. Because let's pull up the RSI and just see how overextended we are, because we have been going up quite a while. So actually, the RSI is looking good on the 4-hour time frame. We're not in that overbought territory yet, but we are creeping up on that. As you can see, the RSI is starting to cool off. Now, you can cool off several ways. You can either go horizontal like we're starting to do now, or you can downtrend. That's two ways to cool off the RSI. But as you can see, we've been up in this steady uptrend, and we have been in the overbought territory for some time. But like I said in previous videos, don't use this to solely trade off of. This is just an aid to help you. But anyways, so let's make a plan for going into tomorrow. Let's say we do have that pullback. My eyes will be set on some type of pullback into this 42 area. That is a huge move. That is a $5 move, so we might not even get to see that. So we may pull back down to $44. You know, just people taking profit over the weekend. So when you're trading in NIO tomorrow, just be very selective. And if you are in it, just go ahead and lock those profits in for the weekend, because that's most likely what most people will be doing. But anyways, going back to end off this video, just recapping about how NIO is probably releasing some type of sedan going into 2021, and that will be huge for them. If they can release this, then they will have an even stronger case to be a direct competitor with Tesla, and they really need to do this, because if Tesla's starting to release, and put their sedans in the Chinese market, then NIO needs to have some type of competitor to do that, just so they can keep up with Tesla. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be coming up with more NIO updates and other electric vehicle companies in the future. Thank you once again, and I'll see y'all in the next video.